So today I want to show you a technique I call grattage, which is a mixed media technique, not specifically to gel printing as I'm known for, but something that works really well for collage in art journals and mixed media pieces. So grattage actually means to rub. So what we'll be using today is I have this Reynolds Kitchen freezer paper. It's plastic coated, so I've got a piece of that. You can see that right here. And I need a card of some sort to spread out my paint. So I'll use this here. I'm gonna get some acrylic paint. For these, I kind of like to use some like neutral colors, black, white, that sort of thing, because with grattage, what you're gonna do with it is you're gonna make some textures and actually use that to collage over other things. So if I use black, you will see what's underneath of it poking through. So that creates a really cool effect. So I like to keep them fairly neutral for that reason. It just gives me more possibilities that way. So I'm gonna get some paint out. And I have a whole bunch of like textured things here that I'm gonna try and use and see what kinds of effects we can get. So I've got some cardboard bits, got some yarn on cardboard, I've got some homemade texture plates, a stencil. I believe this is a commercial stencil. I couldn't tell you where from though, sorry. And then I've got some little texture plates that I've been using for gel printing. So these are just like hand woven paper. Let's see what we get here. So this is super easy. So all you're gonna do is take your freezer paper. I think I'm actually gonna break this down a bit because it's kind of big. So you're gonna take your freezer paper. I want the shiny side up. I'm gonna put some paint on there. Got some black paint. Okay, and then I'm gonna put my texture underneath. So I'm gonna start with this one, maybe take another of those. And I'm gonna take one of these woven pieces. Whoops, don't do that. Let's rip that off so we don't make a total mess. Ah, come on. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tape this side down so that it doesn't roll up like that again. Let's tape it right here. So just to hold it. Okay, so I'm gonna put my textures underneath. When I'm working this way, I want to kind of start at the top because it's just easier not to, you know, get the paint everywhere. So I'm going to take my card and just take a little bit of this paint, and we're just going to kind of smear it over, trying to get pick up the texture of whatever's underneath. So you can see the weave structure kind of coming through there, although that's maybe not the best texture for this technique. But the fun thing about this is that you can keep going. I can always redo that. If I take this out and put something else underneath it there, I'll get a totally different texture, and it kind of just erases what I just did. See? Now we got the dots. So there we go. That's interesting. So you want it to be quite thin so that you have areas that are have very little paint on them so that you can see the texture through. So that's going to be quite interesting. Let's put this stencil underneath here now. And actually, I'm gonna move that up to the top. And I'm just gonna go again like that. Yeah, this one is gonna be nice. So you just kind of want to spread it out. Okay, I'm gonna put one more thing down here, I think. Let's try this texture plate. Yeah, that's interesting. And I'm gonna put a little bit more over here. Okay, and maybe I'm gonna use this area up here too. So you can see it gets tougher to hold when you have paint everywhere. Okay. So I'm gonna just kind of take that and let it dry, and then I'll show you what we can do with that. a little bit later on. Okay, I'm gonna do one more, the other half of that piece, just so you can see what's happening here. There's potential with other materials too. So I pulled a few more out of my bin. So I've got, you know, this piece of packaging, which can be fun, another commercial stencil. I've got some other ones that I haven't tried yet. So I'm gonna give those a go and see what we get. So I put my paint back on. Got lots on this card yet, so I'm going to try and use that before I pull out any new stuff. So let's start with this stencil. Just going to tuck it underneath. And yeah, that's going to be cool for the art journal. Okay. And the nice thing about this too is this is a great way to collect some texture from some things that maybe, you know, you don't want to destroy on your gel plate. So there is that benefit to this as well. Okay, let's do some cardboard. Ooh, I like that too. Okay, and I'm gonna try this cardboard here, which I've cut some holes out of. Not as great. It'll make, I mean, it's interesting, but there's not as much variation with that. So that one won't be as useful, I think. But you know what? I'm gonna do it anyway because it's just paint on paper. And then the last one is this yarn on cardboard. So I don't know how that'll turn out either, but that's okay. That's part of the process, right? Okay, so that's the second one. I think that's it for now. Oh, I did want to try that one though. Okay, I'm gonna maybe just redo this one because I don't think these are gonna be super great. So we're gonna put this underneath and see what I can get with that. That's gonna be fun. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry too, and we'll see what I get. Okay, so here are the pages that I made yesterday with the Grattage. So this is just acrylic paint smeared onto, or I should say scraped onto Reynolds freezer paper with like a credit card or a gift card, using a stencil or a texture plate or whatever underneath. So you can see I've got a few different patterns here. So these are the two I did yesterday. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how to use this. So I'm going to put this on top of a lighter colored paper. So this is just a gel print that, you know, it's not particularly spectacular, but it does have some color to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a pattern, put it on, and you'll see how this works. So I'm going to pick one of these patterns to start with. Maybe I'll take this one and some of these circles. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a shape or two. I'm just going to cut this down so it's a little easier to work with. I'm going to take this one. Take these two, this one and that one. So yeah, I'm going to cut it about here. I'm going to cut off anything that doesn't have any paint on it because I don't want to make my design too small. And I'm going to make some sort of cutout or shape out of it. So this one I think maybe I'll just do like a simple drawing. Let's just make something pretty easy. I'm going to make a little butterfly shape. Cut out a few shapes in here just to make it a little more interesting. And this guy, just take a piece of that. Just gonna do a super simple shape. You can cut this in whatever shape you like. It doesn't have to be what I do or symmetrical or anything. I'm just doing this because it's easy. So cut out a little heart shape here. So there's one. The other one, cut this out too. I'm going to use one of my little knives to cut out the in-between shapes here. So this is just a swivel point X-Acto. It's got a tiny, tiny little blade on it that makes it really easy to cut like round shapes and that sort of thing. So we're just going to cut out that as well. Like so. It doesn't have to be super precise, but it is nice, especially for butterflies, if both sides match. So I'm going to do the round edge here. I really like these for round shapes. I'm not very good at doing the like sharp shapes with these, so I'm just going to cut them, do the round side, and then I'm going to get my tiny little fussy cutting manicure scissors out and do the inside sharper sides. Okay, with this I can feel that the paint is kind of sticking together a little bit, but I think that's going to be okay for the demonstration. Okay, so there's my butterfly shape. Just going to refine this a little bit. Okay. And then to apply this, I take my paper. And I should put the lid on my knife because, you know, that's good practice. And I'm going to take a card of some kind, same as I used to scrape the ink on the paper. I'm going to use some kind of artist glue. This is matte gel. Mine is getting really, really low, so I'm going to use a spatula to get it out. Normally I'd use like a palette knife. So I just take some out. Put it where I want to put my image. So here's my image. So I think I'm going to put this guy down in this like white area or lighter area, and I'm going to put this one up in the more dark orange spot. So I'm just going to put some gel medium up there and some gel medium down here. Plenty on there. And then we'll put the Grattage piece, paint side down, right into the gel medium, and then scrape it flat. This is the best way I've found to glue things together without having bubbles or wrinkles. So you just put it in. You might want to put your finger on just to hold it into place while you scrape out all of that excess glue. Okay, so that one's in. And then let's put this guy down too. So I'm going to put him right into that glue, making sure he's flat, especially where the crease is. And then I'm just going to scrape all the glue out, starting from the middle, moving to the outside. Making sure it's nice and flat. You can see it's picking up here a little bit, so I'm just going to put some extra glue underneath. Oh, I got a little piece of the acrylic came off already, but that's okay. We're just going to try and line it up. And you just kind of squish it out so it's all flat. making sure not to catch any of the freezer paper with the card. Okay, so nice and flat, got all the excess glue out underneath, so that can go back in the jar. And now we let it dry. So I like to make sure that this is really dry, so we're gonna leave it overnight, and then tomorrow I'll come back and I'll show you what happened. Lid back on. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put another shape in here. Okay, so here's my Grattage page that I was working on. It's now sat for a day, so it's totally dry. So I'm going to show you how simple this is. So essentially I just take a X-Acto knife or something sharp and pick up the edge of the freezer paper and pull it off. So there's one. Oops. I got a little bit of a pickup over here. That's okay, I could do it again if I wanted to, but I kind of like the variation. So I'm just pulling that off nice and carefully. There's the butterfly, and then we just have the little heart left. So there you go. So the trick to this technique is not to glue over top of the freezer paper. Like, you don't want the glue scraped over top because it'll glue the whole thing in. And just to be really careful when you try and pick it up. So that's Grattage. It's a great way to add some dimension and texture to mixed media artwork. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye.